When we talk about war, we usually talk about strategy, victories, and borders. But war is not remembered by maps. It is remembered by broken cities, lost generations, and questions that never get answered. Today, let's look at the deadliest wars in human history. In chronological order, who fought them, why they happened, and what they tell us about humanity. Let's start with the earliest of all, called Mongol conquests. Lasted from 1206 to 1368. Estimated deaths were around 40 million. The Mongol conquests were led by Genghis Khan and his successors. They invaded vast regions of China, Central Asia, Persia, the Middle East, and Eastern Europe. The method of the Mongols and their war was simple and terrifying. If you will surrender, you will live. If you will resist, you will disappear. Entire cities were erased. Baghdad, one of the world's greatest centers of learning, was destroyed in 1258. So many people died that historians believe the global population dropped noticeably because of Mongol conquests. This war was not just about expansion, it was about control through fear. Come to the second deadliest war in history. It is the Taiping Rebellion. This war did not happen between countries. It happened within a country. Which country? China. Taiping Rebellion lasted from 1850 to 1864. Estimated deaths 20 to 30 million people. Taiping Rebellion was the deadliest conflict that Chinese have ever heard of. It was actually a civil war in China between the Qing dynasty and a massive religious political movement. This war devastated farmland and trade routes. Most deaths were not from fighting, but they were from hunger and disease. Civil wars are especially brutal because they destroy societies from the inside. Neighbors turn into enemies, and it takes generations to recover. Now come to World War I. The deadliest war in history lasted from 1914 to 1918. Deaths estimated 20 million. World War I involved Britain, France, Russia, Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, and later the United States. It began with the assassination of a single man, but exploded because of nationalism, alliances, and pride. Soldiers fought in trenches for years. Poison gas and machine guns changed warfare forever. Millions died for borders that were later redrawn. World War meant to end the conflict forever, but let me tell you, it planted the seeds for something worse. And now talk about World War II in our continuing story of the deadliest wars ever. World War II lasted from 1939 to 1945. Estimated deaths 70 to 85 million people. World War II involved Nazi Germany, Fascist Italy, Imperial Japan against Britain, the Soviet Union, the United States, China, and others. This war directly targeted civilians. The Holocaust killed 6 million Jews. Entire cities were firebombed. Atomic bombs destroyed Hiroshima and Nagasaki. War had reached an industrial scale. Death produced faster than ever before. But did World War II teach the humanity that stopped these wars? That is a very difficult question to answer. Come to the next deadliest war in history, which is the Vietnam War, fought between 1955 and 1975. That's quite recent, right? Deaths estimated 3 million. The Vietnam War was shaped by Cold War politics. North Vietnam was supported by the Soviet Union and China. South Vietnam was supported by the United States and its allies. Despite advanced technology, this war failed to achieve its goals. Villages were destroyed, forests were poisoned. The Vietnamese civilians suffered continuously even after the fighting stopped. This war, in fact, showed that military power does not guarantee moral victory. Yes, there is so much more that I want to talk about, but I'm sure this itself must have made you think that different centuries, different ideologies, different weapons, but the pattern is the same. Wars begin with political decisions and end in human loss. Most victims are not soldiers. They are soldiers too, but mostly they are civilians, people who never chose the fight. History does not show us that the war is inevitable. It shows us how often it is chosen. And every time it is chosen, the cost is paid by the future. Because the real legacy of war is not victory, it is trauma, memory, and silence. Think about it.